I want to get into the topic du jour today, that it does involve Zion Williamson, whose shoe exploded on him last night. Now, I know, were you at Duke practice this past week?
I was at Duke practice right after the Charlotte All-Star game.
Okay.
Coach Krzyzewski was very kind to invite myself to the practice, and I was able to watch. It's an impressive thing. I mean, he's a legend for a reason.
So what do you see? What do you glean from something like that? Is it an
Yeah,
evaluator?
I mean, we can't get too close. I'm not allowed to talk to any of the prospects, so it's just watching. I did talk to Coach K after. But yeah, you actually learn a lot in practice, habits. It was a very intense practice. They're preparing for their most important game of the year. So I thought it was a great one to go to.
So how do you know Mike? I mean, how long have you known Coach K?
So some of our staff knows him way better. Like Coach D'Antoni coached with him in USA Basketball. And, I know they've traded ideas a lot. Gerson Rosas, who's on the USA staff on the scouting and operations side. So we have a tight relationship with Coach K.
And then your NBA, Daryl Morey, Rockets general manager here. I'm fascinated by what the rules are. So you are bound by the NBA you're not allowed to talk to the kids at all?
I can't talk to any of the players until they declare themselves eligible for the draft, which happens later. And I can't even talk about them either. I can
right
talk
here,
about,
you may not talk about them.
I can't say anything about any player in college right now.
Well, I don't want to get you in any trouble then. So then let me ask a general question. If a player decides to not play anymore mid-season, don't play in the NCAA tournament because, let's say, I don't know, a shoe explodes on them on national television.
I feel like we're getting close to the line here.
Or like, what if a player, just in general, decides to, look, I don't want to put my body at risk in the same way we're seeing a lot of college football players do, not playing their final bowl game. How does that affect your evaluation of this player, Daryl?
Oh, it wouldn't change my evaluation. In terms of like the player, we're just looking at their talent. We're looking at what they can do. So what they choose to do, where they choose to play. Some players have played overseas, to get paid. Some players go to college. Some players even sit out the whole year, like Ennis Cantor did years ago. So that none of that really affects how NBA teams look at these players. Kyrie Irving got hurt and he only played like 5 games at Duke or something like that. So, and he went, I believe, 1. So I think, right. So I think it's not a huge deal for NBA evaluators. We look at the talent mostly.
What about the heart, the want to? Wouldn't that be a question that you would have of somebody that decides to no longer put their body on the line because they know it would cost them potentially dollars and cents?
I think like things like love of the game, drive, and heart are super important. But when we're talking about very elite talents, take a Joel Embiid years ago, where he didn't play many games at Kansas. Those players always go high in the draft, no matter. Elite talents are going to go high no matter what on those other factors.
Now, again, I don't want to get you too close to the fire here, but those players that you're mentioning didn't play because they were not physically able to play.
Cantor's an exception. I think
right.
He was ineligible, I believe.
So that's what I'm saying is that, what if somebody just decides to say, I'm healthy, but I don't want to play anymore because I don't want to hurt myself? That would not be an effect in evaluation.
I mean, for an elite, for me, I don't know how other teams look at it.
Sure.
For elite talents, it wouldn't affect me. If you're farther down, like we generally have picked in the second round or late in the first, that's when those factors start to come into play.
Daryl Morey here on the Rich Eisen Show, and obviously there are some elite talents that don't even need to go to college. So where do you stand on the one and done rule as it currently applies, Daryl?
I always have to remember. I mean, I can just talk in general. I really believe in players, like player empowerment, and I know that's been a topic of debate, both good and bad. But I think the players are the talents. We're here to facilitate that, and that's been a key edge at the Houston Rockets. All the stars want to play with us because we create an environment for them, basically.
Okay, so you don't have a philosophy one way or another whether you think a kid should come out of high school and play for the Houston Rockets right away? Or is that something you can't
Yeah, I'm worried. I can't remember all the rules, but I would say, I personally would want players in the NBA as quickly as possible.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.